recording started? There we go. So I'm excited to be here. I am Dr. Sharon H. Porter, educator, author, entrepreneur, and speaker, and host and creator of Leadership Matters with Dr. Sharon. And tonight, guys, our first launch of this show is my good friend, Dr. William Blake, and I am so excited. Dr. Blake, you are on the go. I tell you, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be on this segment of Leadership Matters, and I'm ready to engage in a robust conversation this evening.
Okay, awesome. And so I just want to share with everyone.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you going a little in and out, but I can hear you. Okay. So Dr. Blake,
Okay.
he is currently the principal at Maya Angelou Public Charter School in Washington, D.C. Dr. Blake has been a teacher. He's been an assistant principal and, of course, principal. He's a graduate of Morgan State University, Trinity University, and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And I tell you, he is on the go. If you do not follow him, you will soon know this man is on the go. So I am just going to start right off. You have so many accolades. You're known as the digital educator. You're known as Dr. Cool. But I want you to tell everyone who Dr. William Blake really is.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that introduction. And just in the nutshell, I am a legacy educator. And what I mean by that, the reason why I got into the field of education is because my family is rooted in that career field. As a young person, my dad, I have watched him be a role model in his classroom and in his communities. And he is currently serving as a 33rd year classroom teacher. And that is the only model that I saw of a positive, male figure who really loved education. And I just wanted to continue that legacy as I got older. So I went on to learn as much as I can on how to become a leader in this field. And I just wanted to walk in my dad's footsteps. So in a nutshell, I am a legacy educator. And that's why I am here today serving our youth in Washington, D.C.
That is really awesome. And I tell you, and I just so appreciate you actually signing on for this interview, because one of the things that I find such a passion for is talking to school leaders, school leaders, district leaders. As you know, my full-time job, I coach novice assistant principals and principals. So I'm always for nuggets that I can share with them. And you get that by talking to school leaders and district leaders. So this is absolutely a treat for me. So I want to talk a little bit about your journey to the principalship, because I know you were a teacher. I know you were assistant principal, but I also know that you did other things in between those things outside of your title and your role before you became principal and sat in that seat. Can you talk to us about some of those things that you took upon initiative for yourself to do?
Sure. So I had the opportunity to engage in multiple leadership programs, in addition to taking many different teacher leadership roles within the schools that I worked in. I was very fortunate enough to have two outstanding leaders that I work for as principals, who allowed me to take the initiative on different things, such as I served as a peer mediation teacher, I served as a classroom sponsor, I also served as a National Honor Society advisor. And those roles helped me really craft what it means to be a leader, because I had the opportunity to engage with adults while I was a classroom teacher. And ultimately, I had the opportunity to engage in an assistant principal development program and a principal development program, actually in Prince George's County Public Schools, that has crafted my skill set on what it means to become a leader. And one program that was definitely worthy in my development was the OUTS program, which trained assistant principals on how to become principals. And in that program, I really learned not more so the theory, but the practical experiences on what it means to become a principal, on really how to engage with classroom teachers, on how to observe instruction, and also how to have courageous conversations. And a lot of programs don't teach you how to have courageous conversations, definitely with adults. And those programs has really assisted me in this seat as a principal. And I've also had the opportunity to engage in other outside organizations such as NASSP, the National Association of Secondary School Principals, and also AASA, the American Association of Superintendents, which has also allowed me to learn more practical experiences on what it means to become not only a school leader, but a district leader as well.
And you also, speaking of AASA, you completed the Superintendent's Academy, didn't you?
Yes, on last school year, I completed the Urban Superintendent's Academy, which prepares principals and district leaders for that role of an assistant superintendent, a deputy superintendent, and ultimately the superintendency. For me, that is the long term plan. Is to actually, be fortunate to lead a school district. And I'm just so happy that I had the opportunity to learn what it means to actually run a district. And I am using those skills in my current role as a building leader now as a charter school high school principal.
That is awesome. And so, and speaking of the public charter, I myself have been a public charter school principal, and I've, of course, been in the traditional public school. What would you say are the major differences? And I'm not really looking for better or worse. Just what are the differences that you have experienced?
Most definitely. So when it comes, the first thing is everything is all about the numbers. And when I talk about the numbers, talking about student enrollment. So when you look at the traditional school system, most of those schools have boundaries where students feed into feeder schools and things of that nature. So the school leader really doesn't have to do a lot of recruitment and advertising to populate their school, as opposed with the charter school. We really have to advertise and recruit students to come, attend our schools so that we could meet our enrollment threshold, which will allow us to get funding from the federal government and things of that nature. And so this year has been actually a challenge for me, really learning the enrollment process and learning that the school enrollment process is a year-long process. It doesn't just take place in the summer months. Right now, we are beginning our enrollment season for 2018 so that we can meet our enrollment threshold. And also, another difference that I have noticed is that as it turns from charter school to the traditional schools, principals have, I guess, a little bit more autonomy, I should say, on the charter school level, where we can be creative to create programs that will move the instructional needle. And there's not, I guess, a lot of red tape, you should say, where you have to peel back to make decisions as far as in your building. So those are the two major differences that I see. But for the most part, what I do notice, charter schools and traditional schools, we both have the same outcome, and that is to graduate kids or to provide kids a positive instructional experience. And I am so fortunate I have this experience now because as a superintendent, one day I will have a school district that will have charter schools and traditional schools, and now I can learn how to mesh and bring those both parties together to achieve outstanding academic achievement.
That's really awesome. And so, and you mentioned before a few principles that you've had that have really helped mold you. Who specifically has influenced your leadership?
Oh man, hands down, I would say Dr. William. She is currently an instruction director now in Prince George's County, but she was my principal at two schools while I was serving at Gwen Park High School and Dr. Henry A. Wise Junior High School. And the one thing about Dr. Merrill is she allowed her leaders to push the envelope. So what I mean by that is if we had an idea that we wanted to try like an after school program or if you wanted to try an intervention, her whole motto is if you try it, you own it. And if you own it, you must execute it. And I found that to be very, very helpful because she also allowed us to fail, right? So when things really didn't work our way, She allowed us, she always had these quote unquote coaching conversations. And she always asks two questions. Why didn't it work? And what would you do different? And although those might seem as regular questions where you might receive like one word answers, those questions were very, very difficult to answer when things didn't always go the right way. But that taught me how to reflect on my practice. And everything that I do now, I ask those two questions if things doesn't go the way that I envision them go. Why didn't it go well, and what will I do differently? And as a leader, it's very, very important to learn how to be the leader. If they're hello, hello, can you hear me? Okay. I think I pressed. There. Can you hear me now? Oh, I can't hear you now. I'm sorry. I think I pressed the
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Michael. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Did, did you hear my response?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So wonderful. And so with that, and that's really wonderful because now you're using what Dr. Merrill taught you. You actually utilizing that now as you cultivate
Yes.
our leadership, which is very important.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
now let's switch to this digital educator. Let's talk about it because you really are a master at social media, and we know that as educators we have to use it responsibly. And so I just want you to share just a little bit of how you got started. If I'm not mistaken, your actual dissertation research was on something with social media. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes. So, in 2011, when I had the opportunity to become an assistant principal, I noticed that social media was on the rise with our young people, and I noticed that they put their entire lives on social media. And back then, the social media platform was Twitter. And while I became an assistant principal at Wise High School, so I used Twitter as a platform. And initially, I only wanted to use it just to share information about the school. But once I started the students engaged in this platform, it became a tool for me to do three things. I was able to educate students on how to use social media appropriately because I noticed that by engaging with them, they were saying doing some inappropriate things. So I was able to intervene and educate them on how to post positive messages on social media. I was able to monitor what they were posting, meaning that if they were saying anything like inappropriate about their peers, about our staff, things of that nature, I was able to address that as soon as possible. And the third thing, I was able to deter conflict. Because nowadays, our students, instead of talking to each other face to face, they have conflicts on social media, which turns into like cyberbullying and things of that nature. So while I was an assistant principal, I really wanted to create a platform where I was educating, monitoring, and deterring conflict. And that has really plateaued or I guess propelled into higher heights where I became, nationally recognized for my use for social media and student engagement. And now I train educators on how to use social media not only as a tool to engage students, but as an instructional tool in the classroom. Because as you mentioned, my dissertation research, I observed 40 teachers, 20 teachers that use social media, and 20 teachers that did not use social media. And I wanted to see if the teachers that didn't use social media, if their students I wanted to determine if there was an achievement gap between teachers that use it and teachers that did not use it. At the end of the day, I determined that teachers that use social media, their students were more likely engaged in the learning process because they were using their devices. They were reading material not from textbooks, but from tablets, from iPhones, and from iPads, and they were more engaged in the work rather than Blackboard teaching and lecturing. So now I go across the country to educate teachers on how to use this as an instructional tool, so to teach students how to communicate, to teach students how to collaborate, and also teach students how to construct different type of tags, instructional tags inside the classroom. And I believe that as educators, we must adapt to the 21st century learning style. And what I mean by that, students that were born in the 2000s are the students that are in our classrooms today, and they were born with smartphones and tablets in their hands. And we must adapt to the way that they learn. So if they are used to learning from, smartphones or smart devices and not textbooks, we must make that shift from textbooks to smartphones so that we can keep them engaged inside of the classroom.
That is really awesome. And so, and I'm sure you have brought that to your new space at Maya Angelou Public Charter School. Really brought your own flavor. Like I said, I follow you, so I see all the amazing things. And I don't know if things were occurring before that, because of course my lens was not there until you
gotcha.
But I can see that, you're really bringing some innovative things, really engaging the community with that. And so with that being said, how can individuals or groups who are wanting to partner with Maya Angelou Public Charter School, how can they partner with you guys? Dr. Blake?
Org.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yes. So the great thing about Maya Angelou Public Charter School is that we have a lot of partners that are partnering with us to bring in instructional programming to our student population. And we have programming around social emotional learning. We have programming around mental health and wellness. And we also have academic programming as well. So if you fall in any one of those three pillars and you want to connect with our school, just shoot me an email at wblake@cforever.org. And we are more than willing to partner with outside organizations or third-party organizations that will bring those programs into our school. Because our school, we are an alternative education school, and with our school, we focus on the whole child, where we have a major focus around social emotional learning. And one thing that I am learning as a leader, we must focus on that social emotional learning piece, because that is the piece that really allow us to connect and build relationships with our students by learning them as a person, understanding their demographics, understanding their backgrounds, and how we can provide a resource not only to their instructional space, but also provide a resource to their social space as well, in their home life and things of that nature. So if you do work around social emotional learning or mental health and wellness, please reach out to me at wblake@cforever.org so that we can have conversations around partnerships with our school.
Excellent. And those who may want to follow you on social media, can you please give them your social information?
Sure. So on Instagram, I am Dr._Cool, and that is cool with the K. And on Twitter, I am the coolest doc, and that's also the coolest with the K as well. And on Facebook, my name is William Blake, Dr. Blake. And I just look forward to connecting with any educators, because the more that we have conversations with each other, the more that we learn new best practices on how to really educate our youth to do great things.
Excellent. And finally, Dr. Blake, as you know, my whole premise of this Leadership Matters series is to help those aspiring principals.
Yes.
What would be your advice to those assistant principals that may watch this or may look at this later and really want to become a principal? What is Dr. Blake's advice for them?
I would definitely say the key word is initiative, right? So with the initiative, I had the opportunity to lead many programs, to lead different organizations within my school communities. And by leading those programs and leading those organizations, not only did my principal know stewardess, but people outside of the, and that allowed me to connect with leaders outside of my school to lead different type of programs in their schools, and to also provide them a structure or how to build different programmings and things of that nature. And that allowed me to connect with other leaders in my space, whether it was the county or within DC. And that really allowed, because when you take initiative and you have exposure, people will know and understand your leadership practice, and know your work. In order, like I believe, in order to really get to that next level, other people must know what type of work that you do, so that they, can have the opportunity to extend different opportunities to you in your leadership field. So for those people that want to become principals, please take the initiative to lead in your schools, so that you can have exposure to like your district leadership. Can you have exposure to your central office leadership, so they could know who you are? So when it's time for them to fill that bench, you are the next person called.
Excellent, excellent. And so indeed, leadership matters. And guys, I just want to say thank you so much. This very brief interview has been so enlightening. Dr. Blake, I know you are a busy man, so I want to say thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, not a problem.
To be here with me tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. And any type of programming that you might do around this leadership matters of practice, just reach out at any given time. I'm more than willing to be a resource and be a support.
Excellent. So guys, thank you so much. This has been Leadership Matters with Dr. Sharon. And please always remember, we'll be right here on Tuesday nights at 8:00 p.m. With leaders of schools, leaders of school districts, sharing those wonderful golden nuggets of leadership. So thank you. Good night. And you have a safe trip home, Dr. Blake.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.